I am beyond excited for today's conversation because we're joined by someone who is not only an incredible cruise director, but also, thanks to Netflix, a bit of a documentary star. You're about to meet the woman at the center of one of the most chaotic cruise stories ever told. Jen Baxter, Cruise Director, during the infamous Carnival Triumph engine fire incident. After this interview, you'll see her in the Netflix documentary, Trainwreck, The Cruise from Hell. Yes, the one that became known as the Poop Cruise. I didn't write that. But before the headlines, memes, and viral chaos, Jen was a real person in a very real crisis, working tirelessly to keep things afloat, literally and figuratively. What makes this even more special is that Jen and I actually shared the same job title for many years, and we worked together in the same industry. So this conversation hits very close to home. For those of you who don't know, a cruise director is far more than just a person with a mic and a flashy smile. They're the heartbeat of the ship's entertainment and morale, planning and hosting dozens of daily events, managing large teams upwards of 175 team members, performing on stage, and handling everything from tech issues to guest relations. It's not uncommon to work 14 to 18 hours a day, 7 days a week, often without a single day off for months at a time. It's high pressure, high energy, and demands constant visibility and leadership, even when things go wildly off script, like they did for Jen. Joining me today is Jen Baxter, who was the cruise director on board the Carnival Triumph during that unforgettable 2013 sailing. She's here to talk about what really happened, what the cameras didn't show, how the crew rose to the occasion, and what it's like to unexpectedly find yourself reliving it all on Netflix. Let's dive in. Hello, Jen. Thanks for joining us.
Oh, hi, Eric. Good to see you.
Good to see you. You are currently in the UK?
I am. I'm on vacation, having a lovely time.
That is wonderful. Well, let's jump right into this because our members that live here are waiting to hear this story from you and see this documentary. So before we get anywhere, I want to know, did Netflix give you any heads up before the documentary aired, or was it a surprise, you're famous again kind of moment?
No, so when they asked me to do it, first of all, I said no, like 2 or 3 times. And then they kept asking, and in the end, I thought, well, they're going to do it anyway, so I might as well do it. So I filmed it earlier this year, and I had no idea how it was going to be edited, didn't know what was going to be cut and what was going to be left in. So totally clueless. And I didn't think it was going to be as big as what it is. Not at all.
That is great. Now, be honest, what was your first impression when you saw the final cut? Was it popcorn or panic?
So I was working at the time, and so I downloaded it in the morning, and I spoke to my brother. I was absolutely panic stricken before it came out because I just didn't know. My brother was like, no, it's really good. It's really good. It's really fun. So I went to a little cafe. I was actually in Germany, and I put my headphones in and I watched it, and I was like, I really enjoyed it. I thought it was good. I enjoyed it.
Let's rewind to 2013. What do you remember about the exact moment you realized this wasn't just a minor mechanical issue, but something serious?
Well, I remember very, very clearly the Alpha Team announcement going off, and you'll obviously know what that is. And when I went up to the bridge, instantly I knew then that this was not just a drill, or this was not just like a little fire in a trash can, or a little bit of smoke in the kitchen. This was like something, because it was everybody was there. They were all kind of running about and like yelling, and beeps were going off and alarms were going off, and I was like, oh, this is something here. And at that point I was scared at that point, because I thought, is this it? Are we going down? Is this the time? And it was only when like the captain came over and spoke to me, and he's like, explained what had happened. There'd been a fire, and the fire was out. And then I kind of was like, at that point I thought, just relief that, it's out, like we're going to be okay. And, then I was thinking, well, we'll be all right. Couple of hours, we'll be back to normal, but no.
Now, the documentary definitely leaned into the chaos. What's something it totally exaggerated or got flat wrong?
For me, very much exaggerate. I mean, the title of it, like Poop Cruise, I get it. They want to draw people in on Netflix, but all this like, oh, there was feces all over, and there wasn't. There really wasn't. Obviously the ship was listing a bit, so there was kind of leaks coming down, but it was more from like the air conditioning pipes. So everyone just dramatic. Oh, it's this, it's that. That was very much exaggerated. The waiting in line for food for 2 hours was exaggerated. Of course, there was like panic on the first morning, but once we realized we were going to be okay, everything calmed down, and it was just kind of just trying to kind of pep people up and, keep a little bit of energy going.
What's something powerful or meaningful that happened on board that didn't make it into the documentary at all?
Eric, there was so much. Like when I did the filming, I was, we filmed like interviews for about 6 hours, 7 hours, and I talked about like all the great stuff, like all the things the crew did. Like we had all kinds of stuff going on. We had karaoke going on. We had dance classes. The cast actually did like half of the show because we got a little bit of electricity after the second day. We had a talent show. One of the things that I was disappointed that wasn't in, we did a talent show on the last night in the back lounge, and it was a crew talent show. And one of the guys that had been in firefighting, he was playing guitar and singing, and it was just, I mean, it was just amazing, just really moving. And that wasn't shown, but like, from talking to people, like, yeah, but they want people to watch the Netflix documentary, and having all the fun stuff doesn't really make a big draw. Literally, I was there for 2 days filming, and the whole of the second day we just sat, and it was really good fun. And we did interviews. It was like I talked about everything, and it's just so surprising when you see what's actually been put into it, which I thought they did really well. Like I was kind of pleased with my bit. Obviously, they focused on the poop part because that did happen. It's not like it didn't, but that happened. It is what it is, right?
You've posted on social media, and I wanted to bring it up. You mentioned the crew did some incredible things, as you just mentioned. Tell us more about Lifeboat 13, the acoustic concerts. You told us about the cruise show, but give us a little more about Lifeboat 13.
So Lifeboat 13, there was just like a couple of crew members that went out there, and they were singing and they were playing guitar, and all the guests were there. There's actually a video that somebody posted on YouTube about it that I went back and watched again. And it's just really incredible. And the guests loved it. But, not only that, but, the crew area, like all the crew, of course, it was so hot, couldn't sleep inside. So they were all sleeping outside. But the guests were all looking down because every night the crew were playing guitars and singing and just having just letting loose, really, just having like a nice time in the midst of the chaos.
So as a cruise director, you're part entertainer, part leader, part crisis manager. How did your role shift when the power went out and things got serious?
So I remember very vividly talking to John Heald, who's senior cruise director. This is months and months before this, and we were having a conversation about what, if stuff happens on ships. And he's given me some great advice. He's like, give as much information as you can. It's never enough. Too much is never enough. Even if you have nothing to say, just make sure that you keep informing people. So I consciously made an effort to like be on the PA as often as I could. I had nothing to say. There was no updates, but I was coming on. Oh, good morning, everybody. And also for me, I was like, made a conscious. I remember vividly thinking on the bridge, going, I can either get people on my side, or it could just be an absolute nightmare. So I was like, so what I've got to do? I've got to go out and about. I've got to be visible. So tough as it was, because it would have been very easy to hide, and just be the voice. But I was like, I can't. So I really consciously made an effort to go out and about, like walking the decks and walking along where everybody was sleeping, and just kind of, everybody okay, and we blah, blah, blah. And I think that really kind of worked work for me during that, because it could have gone the other way.
So the documentary had a pretty dramatic title, Trainwreck, The Cruise from Hell. Do you think that label was fair or a little Hollywood?
Very Hollywood. It was massive Hollywood. Because I didn't know what they were going to call it, and I knew that the title of the whole series was Trainwreck, because I kind of knew like what it was, like all the different stories that were going to be on. I didn't know it was going to be called Poop Cruise at all until like a couple of months ago, and then I was like, oh, that just sounds horrendous. But once again, like that. Like the reason why I did it, when they asked me to do it, they were like, look, we want to make it kind of a fun documentary, not like super negative, not like, anything like really, really bad happened. So it was kind of done like tongue-in-cheek, light-hearted, really. So I get now why it's called the Poop Cruise.
If you remember, a few days ago, I messaged you because I go down into the office and our dining room manager, her name is Carrie, and she texts me and she goes, hey, I'm watching this thing. Do you know about it? I'm like, yeah. Oh. And I go, do I know about it? I know who's in it. She's like, oh my God. Some people say that they wish Netflix had featured more credible or balanced voices. Do you agree? And would you have done anything different if you were producing it?
Oh yeah, I do agree. I really wish there'd been more crew interviewed, more different guest perspectives, because a lot of the guests, Eric, on the last day, they were hugging and they were like, this has been an amazing cruise. Even people now messaging me going, it was the best cruise we've ever been on. Wow. A year later, like exactly a year, I was still on the ship. There was like 200 guests who all booked, like independently, separately, to do a reunion cruise of that actual cruise a year later. So that was missed out. Like the amazing work of the crew was missed out. I would, if I was producing, I would have put more of that in and more of the positive stuff. But I gotta think, as I said before, like what's the draw to get people in to watch it?
But when that happened, and right after it, did it ever make you want to stay far away from cruise ships, or did it light an even bigger fire in you to keep going? No pun intended.
No, I would never cross my mind to not go on ships. Actually, when it happened, like they said to me, do you want to go home on vacation and have a break, or do you want to go to another ship? And I was like, I will absolutely go straight to another ship. And I went to the Sensation straight after and did 3 and 4 day in Nassau.
Now, you're still working on cruise ships, but no longer with Carnival, and you ventured into a new role. Can you talk about this new role and what's different about the experience now?
I left Carnival in 2021. I went back after COVID and did a season in Alaska, and I was like, I think I've just got to do something new. So I'm with Viking now, Viking Cruises, but I'm on the rivers in Europe. So I went from cruise director of like 3,500 guests to we have 200 guests, well 190 guests on board. So it's a totally different gig, really. It's as the program director on board, you're in charge of the entertainment and the excursions. So it's just you. There's no team of people helping you out. It's just so you do all the port talks. We do like big sing-along quizzes, but you also do the excursions and take guests on the tours. So it's challenging in a completely different way because it's just me. There's no one else to it.
If you could say one thing to the guests who were on the ship with you back in 2013, what would it be?
Oh, that's such a good question. I would say just thank you for just being so nice with the crew. Just thank you for just, being appreciative and just like everyone was lovely. Like there was just nobody that caused any drama. So yeah, I'd give everybody a big hug and say, you've all got a free cruise. You've got to come and see me again.
That's great. And if Netflix calls again for the sequel, are you in or will you be conveniently off the grid that day?
No, I'd be in. I'm in because I don't think it's come out as negative. I think it's it's really, it put like a bit of a positive spin, even though there was not that much about the crew. The ending of it was really, where they said like it was surprising because everybody came off and said how amazing the crew was, and I think that really hit home. So yeah, I'd do it again.
Well, Jen, it has been an absolute pleasure. I wish I was in the UK now to visit you. But thank you very much. Is there anything that you want to say before our members watch this documentary?
Well, I would like to say to your lovely members, you are incredibly lucky to have the fabulous Eric there with you. We work together and we've been good friends for many, many years. So I want you to sit back, um, open your minds when you watch the documentary, and just enjoy it, knowing that in the end, everything was fabulous and we actually did end up having a fun time.
Thank you, Jen. Okay, we did it. Woohoo!